There. There.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Yes, this is the most exciting live I think we've had since we started doing this back in October.
Yes, we have some wonderful guests joining us.
Well, this is the new development. Let me just delete this for a second.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything funny going on with audio. This is the first time giving this a try live, so if you hear something off, then that might be what's going on. But yeah, so we have special guests. It's no secret anymore. Paul and Carole here. They are in the green room waiting to come on and say hi to everybody. And yeah, we just wanted to wrap things up this week real fast. We had a couple vlogs come out. We had the Carnival series finished. We've had a lot of comments, a lot of viewers, a lot of questions about Carnival and our decision to try out the cruise lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that we have to have a whole other live for that because it's not going to fit in tonight with everything we have to talk about. And the other one that came out was our Sky Princess wedding cruise. The first day came out.
Right.
And you're going to see a series of videos coming down this week. A little bit of different, not just vlogs, but pieces of different things about the wedding, about planning, and our new series that we've been promising where we interview folks that have been on cruise ships. It's starting this week, and that is called again?
Suitcase. Sorry.
Suitcase Diaries is the name of our little, thing that we're doing with people that have been on cruises lately. We interview them, and so the first guest is actually the bride of the cruise.
Yes, we convinced our daughter to come and share her experience as the bride on board a cruise ship, and she talked about not just the actual wedding, but the whole cruise and what led up to the decision of making that. So if you're thinking about doing a wedding or you have family members that are interested in that, that's a great one to watch. And she'll give you a little insight. And of course, you can ask follow-up questions for that.
Yeah, the plan with that is that we want to kind of reveal what's happening with the wedding, and then we will actually show the day 2 vlog of the wedding itself. So we didn't want to kind of give everything away. We wanted to kind of show the lead up and the details and then go that way with it. Yeah, so no sense waiting longer. A lot of people are tuning in to see our special guests. I see we've got 67 already, a couple minutes in.
Wow.
We do have a special announcement with them, but we'll get to that first. But so let's bring Paul and Carole on. I'm hoping we don't have that audio issue, so I'm going to unmute them and say hello, Paul and Carole.
Cheers.
Hi.
Hello.
Do some volume stuff here.
Got them back. All right. All right. Can you hear you? Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, we can't hear Paul and Carole.
We can't hear Paul and
We
Carole.
can't hear you on our end. Jerry's trying to fix it now. We had it working just before we went live. Oh, there we go.
Yep, there they are. Yeah, we got a bit of an echo going on.
Can you hear us now?
Okay. So I'm going to turn this down before I talk, then I'll turn it back on when Paul and Carole are talking. Is what I'll have to do.
Wow. Okay.
So Paul and Carole are one of our most favorite vloggers, as a lot of you that we're seeing in the comments coming here. And just a comment about the comments that we're probably going to have a ton of comments today. We're going to be going through, finding questions, zooming through, and we see if we use question in capitals, we'll notice it faster, and we'll get to the questions as well. But first, Paul and Carole, and what is it that we found about them that we were so enamored about back right at the beginning of COVID is when we found Paul and Carole.
For sure. So yeah, when we were in our first round of lockdown, I will say, we came across Paul and Carole's vlogs, and Mr. Canuck had been trying to convince me just prior to COVID that we should start vlogging and doing it. And I'm like, absolutely no way, no how. I don't have that professionalism. I don't have any of that. And then I met Paul and Carole via the internet, and I went, oh, they are hilarious. I love them, and they're so real, and maybe we can do this. So they're the reason why I'm in all of this trouble now. It's all because of you guys.
Sorry about that.
I never thought that our name would be linked with professionalism.
The audio up, and maybe if Paul and Carole had some advice as to how we can get rid of this audio issue, it would be fantastic.
Oh, definitely not me.
Definitely not Paul.
Yeah. We've not had any issues with our audio, but we haven't invited guests on as yet. We've only had guests in the same room. So, but can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just we've got an echo, so it's a little bit of a delay is what's going on. But we did it this afternoon on a practice with our daughter, and it didn't happen. So I'm not sure why it's happening tonight, but we'll just work through it. But
Yeah.
yes, so the reason why we invited Paul and Carole to join us tonight, though, was that we wanted to announce that we are doing something very special.
Yes, we are. We are going on, as you know, we're going on Holland America. So we're very happy to be back on Holland America a year after our last Holland America cruise.
Right.
New Amsterdam in March. And all the way from across the pond, Paul and Carole are going to be on the same ship with us. We're so excited about that.
Yeah, so they decided they're going to join us. So it's going to be your first Holland America cruise, correct?
Right.
Well, exactly. And the reason that we obviously found you online too was because I was looking at, we've done lots of cruising lines, but we've never done Holland America and we've never done Carnival. And you've done a lot of both of those, haven't you? So we were doing our research and obviously you'd been in touch. And so that's, you know, so it's a mutual respect actually, because we thoroughly enjoy your vlogs and all the information that you've given us that made us decide to book Holland America. And knowing that you'd be on board too was just a no-brainer. So yes, so we're really excited, aren't we?
Well, I was excited until you said I'd have to drink Canadian whiskey.
Yes, we might have convinced Paul that he has to try some Crown Royal. What do you think, Canadians? We should get him doing that?
I'm very easily led when it comes to alcohol, unfortunately.
Well, there you go.
I'll be
I saw a
sticking to
question
the
up there.
wine.
People want to know, what is Paul and Carole's YouTube channel? Do you guys want to give your details just so everybody knows where to go find you as we're talking?
Yeah, well, our channel's called Paul and Carole Love to Travel. You can find us by just putting that in YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So our channel is very much like the Canucks. It's showing our different experiences on the cruise ships, along with some of the cruising and travel advice. Anything else to add, Paul?
Nothing at all.
No.
I'm just excited to find out where I'm going on this cruise because Carole keeps me in the dog forever.
Well, we might get you into all kinds of stuff.
Oh, so let's go a little bit here to the questions. And a lot of folks in here are some of the regulars that we've had before. We see Southwest Florida Bulldogs on the last day of Caribbean Princess. So yes, always a sad day, the last day of the cruise. And also mentioning that they attended Bravo, one of our favorite shows that we found on Princess back in the Caribbean Princess. So.
Yeah. But anyway, so let's talk about what's going to happen for our
Go ahead.
our Holland America adventure. So we are going to be going to Aruba, we're going to Curacao, and we're also going to be going to Half Moon Cay. So do you snorkel? That's my question to you, Paul and Carole.
I need to find a mask that's big enough to fit my fat face. Carole says I've got a humongous nose and they haven't made a mask big enough for it yet.
No.
She's very mean to me.
No, we love snorkeling, but Paul always struggles with getting a mask to fit. So he always ends up getting water in, don't you? And he gets all frustrated.
Have you tried one of those full mask snorkels that they have now?
No.
They haven't made one of them big enough yet, I don't think. I would like to try one of those, actually.
For the snorkeling, so that's why I was asking. Yeah.
So they provide them there, do they?
Oh, you're just hearing the echo. Yeah, just let us know with the audio, just because, like I said, I'm still hearing an echo here. So as long as everyone online is hearing everything normal, then I won't change anything we're doing. I don't want to break it.
Yeah.
There's no echo our end, anyway.
No, we could. It seems good to
Perfect.
us.
Okay, it's just us then. Yeah, we'll have to listen to us talk twice.
Yeah.
So
he tells me I talk too much on a good day. Now he's having to hear me double talk.
Over.
I bet a woman's never heard that before you talk too much, have they?
So we're going to Aruba.
Yeah.
And we are hoping to do finally the parasailing that everybody's been asking about. So, and we heard in talking to Paul and Carole that Paul has actually done this before. So, so I'm waiting to see whether he tells me I shouldn't do it or whether he's going to give me some encouragement.
What do you think?
Well,
Should you get him up there?
I'm definitely not going to be your stunt double. I can tell you that.
We did it. When we did it, actually did it together, and it was quite a strange experience because we were tandem. So Paul was higher than me, so my head was sort of on his chest here. And where I can't remember where it was. Can you?
I can't remember.
I think it was St. Lucia when we were at our friend's wedding. But anyway, it doesn't matter about that. We anyway, when we were coming in, they kept dropping us down, and we kept dropping but the water was coming up to Paul's neck, so I was just being dragged under the water. So it was a bit of a bizarre. Paul found it hilarious, but I was just spluttering and I couldn't wait to get back on the boat. So I shan't be parasailing again, but Paul may well.
I don't know if this is encouraging him to go or not, guys.
Yeah, I'm just picturing that I'm the heaviest of the two of us. And so if there's an imbalance and someone gets dragged through the water, I might be like Carole and be gasping for air.
No, I'll come on with you, but I'll have to sit on your shoulders.
What Paul say?
I'll come on, but I'll have to sit on your shoulders. Do you think there's a parachute big enough to take us?
No, it should be great.
Yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing Aruba. We're doing Curacao, which is one of our favorites.
Beautiful city.
Yes, beautiful. Absolutely, the Dutch influence is just gorgeous there. And we're stopping at Half Moon Cay. That was supposed to be at the end of the cruise. I don't know if you've noticed, Paul and Carole, that they've moved it to the beginning of the cruise now. So the very first day we're doing Half Moon Cay, so they reversed the itinerary on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've had a little flip flop.
Yeah. So we're going to be snorkeling on the first day
in Half Moon Cay.
Half Moon Cay, yeah, and then we got I think it's just one sea day, and then we're all the way down to Aruba. So I thought that was pretty quick, but I think that's the plan right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going through the trade winds again. Last time I went through the trade winds, there was Mrs. Canuck's birthday. There was a lot of seas and wind because usually you get that going through the trades. And I might have been a little bit ill on her birthday that day.
Yeah, he spent the whole day in the bed. I was by myself. And I went to go to dinner without him, and he mustered up the courage and came and watched me eat. I felt so bad for him. So we will make sure that he has some medicine just in case that happens. But I mean, on 35 cruises, that's happened twice. So it doesn't normally happen. Yeah.
And so, Paul and Carole, are all these stops new to you, or have you been to these before?
Yeah. We've only done the Caribbean cruise once, and that was in 2018. But we did Cozumel, that's the western side. Many years ago, when I worked as a nurse for Celebrity, going back to the early 1990s, I did a lot of the Caribbean, but I never got to Aruba or to all those islands there. We're full screen now. Hello. So we're thoroughly looking forward to experience those islands as well as the Half Moon Cay. We haven't done that either.
Yeah.
So the Canucks disappeared.
Yeah, we're in charge now.
Oh, so let's have I wonder what's happened there. Regina Mann's here saying thanks for staying up late. Yeah, it's midnight in the UK, so I just had a power nap. Paul's just been watching the football to keep himself awake, and we're on the coffee. So hopefully the Cruising Canucks will come back.
Well, maybe it's us that's disappeared and we're just talking to ourselves.
Maybe, I don't know. So where have they gone? There they are. They're coming back.
Oh, they're buffering.
And it's nice to see Tony's here from Melbourne. He's one of our Patreons. So hi, Tony. So that's lovely to see. And some familiar faces. There's Jill's there.
Sorry. Yeah, literally our camera just died for some reason. So now we're using the laptop camera as Mr. Canuck's trying to fix it. So there you go. One time we try to do something special with live guests and it all goes kapooey on us. There you go.
That's tech though, isn't it? You never know with tech. Yeah, that's no problem, is it?
Anyways, well, we just want to thank you so much for coming and joining us on the live for sure. And I am just so excited to be going on a cruise with you guys and getting to spend the week with you and finding out more about you and sharing some stories and, learning a little bit of Britishisms as you laugh at my Canadian accent. Because I do hear I have a Canadian accent.
Don't thank us too much because you don't know what we were saying about you in them 2 minutes when you were trying to sort your laptop out.
No, it'd be great to cruise with you guys too, because we've been talking online for such a long time, haven't we? So it'll be lovely to do that. And as you know the Caribbean islands so well, it'll be good for us because we were wondering whether to book excursions or what to do. But I think what you made quite clear is actually those ports are quite easy to do on your own, so not to put too much up.
Yeah, the ports we're going to beautiful places. Aruba and Curacao are lovely communities, and places that you can explore. We've done a variety of things there, from like shore excursions that we've just done with the cruise ship to things we've done all on our own. So when we go back this time, we do have a snorkeling adventure booked in Aruba through Princess, but on Curacao, we just plan on going off and doing our own exploring again, lots of different things, and easy to get around in both of those places for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, looking forward to that.
So do you want to take a few questions? Paul and Carole might be able to answer a few of these
Sure,
as well.
there's some for Paul and Carole. Go ahead.
Sure, I think there's a couple for both of us. But
Okay.
Peter, I think it's the first question I can find here. Let me just scroll up and see. Yes, Peter is asking us, what is the most special, magical, fantastic you have experienced while cruising? Bruges, Panama Canal, Christchurch, or Rio. What is the highlight, I guess? What is the most special?
Wow. I would think for Paul and Carole, was it Australia for you guys? You just finished your Australia adventure, which is definitely a bucket list one for me.
Yeah, there was lots of fantastic itinerary, ports that we went in Australia, wasn't there? I think Western Australia, we started off in Singapore and actually went to Fremantle, Perth, and then right around to Sydney. And I think one of our favourite places was Esperance and Albany, around there. The beaches we've never seen. We've travelled a lot, but we've never seen beaches like it. It was a special cruise, wasn't it?
And a sail into Sydney Harbour isn't too bad either, to be fair.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough that our captain, because it was a small ship we were on, when he got between the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, he actually did 2 spin arounds,
360s.
So he did 2 360s
wow.
just before the bridge. So he said, "There's no need to clamber to get your photos." And it was
it was special. Just that first glimpse of when you see the peaks of the Opera House, it just makes you all go goosebumpy, doesn't it? It was magical. Yeah. We did have a few issues with Azamara, but overall it was brilliant. We didn't realise as well that the seas around Australia would be as rough as they were. And we were on a very small ship. It only had 700 passengers. So for the first time, you didn't struggle so much, did you? But I quite struggled with seasickness. And we've done 40 cruises and never had any issues.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So I think if we were going to do an Australia again, Azamara were brilliant in lots of ways. They're fantastic at the immersion and food was spectacular. But I think if I did Australia again, I would do it on a bigger ship.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Good advice for us. Hopefully in the future it gets to be in the cards.
We're hoping. Yeah, it's one of those bucket lists. North America, our dream is to go out of California, go Hawaii, and then the South Pacific Islands down to New Zealand and Australia. I think that's the way we would probably do it. Whereas you started up in Singapore, I believe, and went down, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
I would say I have a few favorites because I love the beaches so much. Anywhere that gives me a great beach is definitely one of my favorite locations. But when I think about special cruises, Bruges still sticks out in my mind for sure from last summer. Also, sailing out of Manhattan is a highlight. You know, just sailing by the Eiffel Tower and Statue of Liberty. Sorry, Eiffel Tower. And all of those. Yeah, can you imagine? No. Anyways, definitely going out of Manhattan was a special cruising experience in my memory too.
Yeah.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I don't know. There's so many. Every cruise is something special. Definitely the European. I don't know how to take 35 days in Europe and find the best of every day we went to somewhere in Europe. The next day was better than the day before. That's how it felt. It was just amazing. I loved London. I wish we had more time in London. And then it would have to be somewhere in Europe. I'm just not sure yet where it would be. Bruges is high on the list. I really liked Lisbon. I liked. I know it's hard to nail down just one. I loved Cove, Ireland. I thought that was the most quaint little. It was almost a little bit of Canada in Europe, in Ireland, and that was really, really cozy too. Yeah, yeah. But it's so hard with cruising to find your favorite. It's like when someone says, "What's your favorite cruise line?" It kind of changes from time to time.
Yeah, you can't say because each one offers something very different.
Yeah, you can't. All right.
Okay, so this is an interesting question because I think this is way different for Paul and Carole than ourselves. Peter's asking, do you prefer to book with the lines and ships you know or try new lines like Virgin and then some that I haven't heard of. We haven't ever done Costa. So are you always looking for that new experience, or do you kind of have your favorites that you go to?
We always like to try something new. I must admit, we haven't tried Costa yet. We have done Virgin. Carole liked it. I didn't. So she might be doing a solo on there. Yeah, I mean, we're always. It's funny because there is cruise lines we like, and with Princess, because you've just done the Sky Princess, and we've done like the Sky Princess several times, Regal Princess and Enchanted, and all the ships are identical, are virtually identical, and that's
right.
I think if somebody blindfolded you and stuck you in the atrium, you wouldn't know which ship you were on. So then you're sort of looking at more itinerary based because you know exactly what you're getting with a ship.
Yeah, I'd agree, but there's some that we will always go back to. We're big Cunard fans. We do love a Cunard cruise. We've thoroughly enjoyed Royal Caribbean in the past, haven't we? Which we'll go back to. But there is ones that we want to try, and obviously with you, with Holiday America, Carnival is coming around the corner for us too, because we've never done a Carnival cruise, and also NCL. We've never done an NCL. So, but we're very much for let's try something. If it doesn't work, then we just won't do it again. So I think some people are very loyal to one cruise line, and I get that because you get the loyalty points. And people like to get on a ship and feel familiar, don't they? So that they're at. It's like last week we were on Iona, one of the P&O ships, and we've been on there before. And it was great to get back on a ship you've been on because everything you know where it is, and it felt very homely straight away. Oh. So for sneezing. So I think we like to mix it up, but we will always be looking for a new experience because I love that. I get really excited when I've not been somewhere, and I think it's a wonderful feeling when you first walk on a cruise ship, going down, isn't it, the walkway, and you're getting on a new ship. I think it's one of those magical feelings that you think it's just so exciting, and I love it.
I agree. Yeah. I want to try every cruise line. Everybody's like, which one's your favorite? I don't know. There's parts of every one. I would love to make the perfect one for sure. But we love going on different lines for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to matter which ship it is or what cruise line it is. Just those first few steps of walking on a new ship, and it just it's the sense of awe. It's something you can't explain until you've done it. I guess is the way to put it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't keep these people up too late. We should let them. We're keeping them up way past their bedtime.
Carol's been sleeping.
Carol's got her coffee.
Yeah, this is wrong.
I've had 2 naps.
We get 40 comments. Everybody saying they love Paul and Carole.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
So, should we want to let Paul and Carole go, or do we want to let them have the option to stay?
Yeah, no, let them.
We're really happy to stay, and we're happy to chip in whatever you want to do. So we're happy. We've got our coffee. We've had our nap, so we're good to go.
Yeah. So let's go to. I just have a question here from Peter that's really interesting. I'm not sure about Paul and Carole, and we've been talking about this, so I don't believe you have. But the question is, have you done a transatlantic yet?
Not yet, but we are in August for Paul's birthday.
Oh wow!
Nice. So we're back on Queen Mary 2, one of our favourite ships, and it'll be our first transatlantic, and we wanted to do it on something iconic like the Queen Mary 2.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Paul's never been to New York. I've been many years ago. So we're going to fly over about a week before and spend some time in New York. And I'm actually catching up with one of my old friends from when I worked on the cruise ships in 1990, who lives now in Connecticut. So that's going to be really special. And we're sailing back to Southampton because we thought I was thinking if I go do lots of shopping, it's not a problem with waits for flying.
Worry about flying home. That's
exactly.
Very clever.
So
I like that idea. I like how
she never wrote that to me until this moment. The pound's doing very poorly against the dollar at the minute, so I don't think there'll be any bargains to be had.
Well, I'm sure I'll find some. Yeah.
That was probably one of my biggest regrets when we spent so many weeks in Europe was
I had packed so much clothes to come with me. I didn't have room in my suitcase to bring hardly anything back. So that was a little bit of a regret because there's some beautiful things I could have bought.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Dodged the bullet there.
And we have yet to do transatlantic. We keep talking about it. I want to go back to Europe. I'm not sure if Mrs. Canuck is as eager as I am.
Okay.
We've talked about going back to Europe. The flight there was very, what I would say, easy. It's like going to Los Angeles from where we are. But coming back was a very long flight. So I'd like to go there, do a little bit of cruising in Europe again, and then do the transatlantic to come back to North America and to Florida and then have a shorter flight home. So, and if we do that, that would be a fall cruise when they reposition back to Florida for the Caribbean. So
yeah, that's on our radar of wanting to do.
yeah, we have so many things we want to do and so little time, but that's one of the considerations for this coming fall. We haven't booked anything after July. We have nothing booked for cruises, which is very unusual for us. We're waiting to see what we can do with the time we have available from work and how all that plays out. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that you haven't got a lot booked because we're the same, aren't we? After sort of August, beginning of September, because we've had so much planned since I retired as a nurse. Going back, it'll be 2 years in July, and we've gone a bit crazy cruising because we're just the free time that we've had, which has been brilliant. But from September onwards, we've left quite a lot of gaps because we've done a lot of planning. We want to do some more spontaneous cruising and just seeing what's out there at that time. And so that's the plan for us, isn't it? So we've got quite a lot of gaps in our diary, but that's quite exciting because we don't know what we're going to be doing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think one of our favorite cruises was one we had booked 2 weeks before we went. So, yeah.
Carol's already forgot that we got a cruise booked at the end of November to the Caribbean.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. I forgot about that one.
Except for that.
Yes. But that's the only one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Apart from that, nothing at all.
There you go. Oh, that's great.
I see a question here for Paul and Carole saying, would you sail Croatia again? We watched those vlogs of that small sailing ship, and it was very fascinating to us because we've never done anything like that. So would you do that experience again?
Definitely.
It was fabulous.
Yeah. It was only, for those that don't know, Sail Croatia is a small company that has different ships for different age groups. So they might start with having like a party cruise for those in their 20s, and they do some for like 30-year-olds or people with families. And we went on their elegance cruises, which is geared to more the older. We're in our mid-50s, so it was geared to our sort of age group. And you literally go obviously around the Croatian islands, and it was wonderful, wouldn't it? Because it sort of flipped the cruising experience on its head for us, because we're used to being in ports in the day and then sailing at night. But what they do is they sail a little bit of the day, they stop for swim stops in this most beautiful turquoise water, and then you get to your destination in the evening or the afternoon. So then you're then docked, and as long as you're back on the ship by 5 a.m, so it's not a problem. So you were just free to roam. That sounds a bit crazy, but you know what I mean? It's it was a great way to experience Croatia, and we met some fantastic people. There was only, how many people on there? Was it 28, 30 people? So we could have gone. You never know, do you, when you're doing small ship cruising like that, because you get the wrong crowd. But we had a fantastic crowd, didn't we? There was some Brits on board, there was some Australians, and some
couple of Americans,
a few American people. So it was a really good mix, and it worked really well. So yes, I definitely, if you get the chance to do anything like that, I definitely recommend.
And that makes me think about something else you've done that we haven't done. We've also considered over and over again, and we've had some family that have gone off and done river cruises, and we were in tears laughing at some of your riverboat cruising scenes where you'd wake up in the morning and look out the beautiful view you have from that wonderful cabin, and it'd be like a wall.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing that people don't expect, and it surprised us really, because we knew that river cruise ships do double parking. Actually, sometimes there can be up to 4 or 5. But yeah, it is a bit of a shock, particularly if you open your curtains and there's another person staring at you from the other ship. It's like, oh, yeah. So you have to be very conscious of what you have on, and obviously where you are, because you just don't know. Saying that, there were a lot of times the views were fantastic, weren't they? But you can never really book a cabin knowing what your view is going to be. And so I think people get a bit worried about that river cruising. But what river cruising is really good at is getting to the heart. It's like doing 3 little city breaks we had a fantastic time. We started off in Budapest, and I think it was probably one of our favourite cruising experience. Was we sailed out about 10 o'clock at night, and I don't know if you've ever been to Budapest at night. It's just the most spectacular
Wow.
scenery, and that was very special, wasn't it?
It's a really, really good way of getting. Well, we went to Bratislava, was one of the stops, and I wouldn't have thought about going there in a million years. And we went there, and it was absolutely stunning, wasn't it? It was just such a nice place. So there's all these, you know, a lot of them you've heard of, but some you wouldn't think of ever going there. But it's a really good taster for thinking, well, yeah, I could go back there and spend a week or a long weekend or something. From our point of view in Europe, obviously not this far too far for you to be going, but we want what the next river cruise you want to do is you want to do the Mekong. So that'll be that's
we want to get back to Asia. Prior to the pandemic, as well as our cruise, and we went to Thailand a lot. We would have because we love beach holidays as well as cruising. We like to mix things up, and we're eager to get back out to Asia. We're hoping that not this year, but early 2024, we're going to spend some time out there, and doing a river cruise down the Mekong is one of the things that we've got sort of on our radar as such.
Okay, yeah, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess the other piece that we've been so busy cruising with all our holiday time, we used to book all-inclusives once in a while. We haven't done that in a long time. And you just did the all-inclusive to Antigua. How does that feel after doing so much cruising? Would you go back and do a lot of all-inclusives?
It was perfect for what we needed at that time, because we just needed to sort of just chill out because we've been so busy, and a week just in an all-inclusive on the beach was perfect, wasn't it? I think the perfect holiday for us that we thought now is, we always thought we wanted to do really long cruises, like 25 plus nights, or my ultimate dream was to do a world cruise. And after spending 24 nights on Azamara, nothing wrong with the Azamara experience, but we did have a few issues, but not overall the Azamara experience was great. It's really made us think that actually I don't want to spend that much time on the same ship.
Right.
All in one go. I'd want to do what we're doing when we meet you guys. We've got a week beforehand on the Carnival celebration, so we're doing 7 nights on there, then 7 nights with you. But the ultimate for us now is to combine the all-inclusive beach holiday with the cruise, to do a cruise and stay, and that's and do that after the cruise, so you can just chill out before we fly home.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. Yeah, we found the same thing when we went to Europe. We did 21 days on the Carnival Pride, and it was too long. I would prefer to do 7 days on a ship and change a ship and do another one, that sort of thing, because you just kind of get used to the same menus, the same shows, all that kind of stuff was what we found. It was a lot of that was repeating. So it's nice to get on a new ship and have different nightlife and that sort of thing offered to you.
Yeah, the same thing. Holland America does 14-day cruises where it's 2 7 days back to back, but you book it as a 14 because it's a different itinerary, but it's the exact same menu. It repeats all the exact same entertainment and and so we agree that I think if we did it again, we'd change ships like you're doing with Celebration and then Amsterdam.
Yeah,
you can see a big difference between the two. I hazard to guess you're going from a 6,000 celebration boat.
Celebration, if it's max capacity, I think it's almost 8,000 people.
Oh, really? To
I don't know how we're gonna. It's going to be interesting. We're looking forward to it, but it's going to be very different from what we've done.
Yeah,
we were only on there for about 4 hours, and that was like mad. Because we visited, it came to Southampton, so we got invited
to visit, and it was great, but it was so loud. As soon as we walked on, it was just noise everywhere, which was fun for the day, but whether we can cope with that for 7 nights will be another thing.
You'll be looking forward to quiet time on Holland America the following weekend for sure.
Yeah.
and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Iona is very similar size and type of ship as the Celebration. I thought they're both LNG big ships, right?
Yeah, the Iona is 5,400, but it can, I think, with multiple, with if all the cabins were full with like 4 people, etc., can hold up to about 6,000. And we've just been away on half term in the UK, and there was 1,000 children on there. But actually, the ship handled the crowds really well. There's lots of places to go, and we never felt that it was really crowded. Or by the lifts, there was a few.
Yeah.
It got busy in little pockets of places, but overall, it was a
It
good
wasn't bad at
experience.
all,
It
no,
was.
that's right.
It was. It didn't feel like there was that many people on there.
Oh, that's good for sure. Yeah.
And you did have a little bit of a taste of Holland America, right? You were invited to the Rotterdam, I think. Was that for a day, or how long were you there?
All right.
Yeah, it was for a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were invited. That was to Plymouth, wasn't it?
That was Plymouth, which
Yeah.
is unusual because I don't think they've had a cruise ship in Plymouth like ever. I don't think.
But it was to do with Holland America's history, because the first Rotterdam had gone to Plymouth. So it was all part of their. It's 150 years, I
150 year
believe.
celebration,
150 years we have celebrating. Yeah.
And as soon as we walked on there, we felt it was like, oh my God, we know. I think we're going to love Holland America because it reminded us. It's a bit Cunardy, so it's quite traditional, sort of the decor and that.
It is.
Not so oldie worldy as Cunard, but it had that same feeling of traditional cruising. So I think we're going to really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I see that there's a comment here about actually Holland America that we should probably answer a little bit about, is saying that Holland America, wouldn't there be a lot of noise with their emphasis on music? So Holland America has the music walk, which is a small part of the ship where they have multiple musical venues going on, and some alternate and some are slightly down the hall a little bit, down the corridor. And I don't think there was ever an issue if there's a lot of quiet lounge spaces and bars, and so there's a lot of, even going up top to the what's the crow's nest area called up there?
Crow's nest, isn't it?
And with Holland America, you can be in the middle of where all the music is in the evenings, or you can be away relaxing, having a coffee or a quiet cocktail or a martini. So there's
have lots of options.
Which would be perfect for us because we love live music. But it's nice sometimes just to sit and chat to people, isn't it, where you can actually hear each other speak.
Right. Well, what we found was we would go to one of the live venues, and they would play like a 45-minute set, and then they'd go and have a half an hour break, and that's when you got to sort of sit and chat to all the people. And next thing you know, they came back, right? But often we ended up staying in the same area for hours on end just because we were talking with fellow cruisers. Mm-hmm.
That reminds me. That reminds me of something so funny on your Azamara vlogs there. I think it was maybe number 2 or 3. During COVID, we went back to COVID. We were very nervous about going back to cruising. We wanted to keep our spacing from people. We were wearing masks. This was when our first cruise was back on Holland America. And we would go to a venue and sit in the far corners, far away from everybody as we could. There'd be no one around us. There'd be like hundreds of seats between us and the nearest person.
Because we were selling at around 35% capacity on that too. But
somebody would come in to where the venue was where we were sitting, and all these empty seats, and they'd sit next to us.
Right next to us.
And it was just like Paul Morgan.
When we saw you sitting in the lounge chairs, we laughed.
Old man on the sunbed story. Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah. So we were led on the sunbed. We had the whole pool deck to ourselves. We think, oh, this is lovely. And the weather was gorgeous. And literally, a guy come and sat just next door to Paul. It's like you've got all these hundreds of beds to pick, and you were really grumpy about it.
I took it well, yeah.
But it's like, why would you
just wanted to be beside someone famous.
Well, maybe that's it, yeah.
I kept wondering how rude it would have been to get up and just move away, because I would have wondered if I would have done that myself or not.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't want to be seeming impolite. But we managed to move, didn't we, Dan, a little bit? Because I got in the pool and Paul sort of sat up and then sat on my toes. So we did it. We felt politely.
I just felt he was there to sabotage my day, because Carole said, "Oh, take a picture of me swimming in the swimming pool." And every time I went to take a picture, he stood in front of me. He was just like he just sat there to wind me up.
Yeah. I see a private cabana coming in your future, Paul. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. We've never thought about that, but yeah, that's a very smart move what you do with the private cabanas, because we've just never thought of doing it, have we?
We saw them on Celebrity Beyond, and we can only assume they were quite expensive, because at not one single day was there anybody in them. So I can only assume they were quite expensive.
Yeah.
But our ship wasn't at full capacity, and there was plenty of sunbeds on the deck. So whether people chose not to do that, I don't know. Yeah.
We'll never know.
Never know. Yeah. So part of the reason why we did them so often when we first came back to cruising was for the whole COVID safety. Because when we first rejoined cruising, we had to get a negative COVID test post cruise in order to fly
Back
back
in
to
the Caribbean.
Canada.
Yeah.
So having a private cabana, we knew we were only around ourselves
Yeah.
and limited number of people. But
Yeah.
now we're spoiled and just like them. So
Yeah. It's nice that a lot of the protocols now have eased, isn't it? Because that was so stressful, wasn't it? Very stressful.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking here, a comment from Chad Matthew Cruz there. They're saying the Holland America really spaces out the public spaces. There's no primary atrium, which we love, and you can wander and explore. I guess my only comment to that is the Sky Princess atrium piazza was just gorgeous. Like it made that ship, and yeah, I'm an atrium type of guy. I have to admit it. That's one of the things I miss on Holland America. But you're right. The lack of that creates a nice, even, kind of quiet flow.
It gives you more of a quiet area because you don't have noise traveling multiple levels when there's a venue going on somewhere. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. If there was a downside to Sky Princess, that's what it was. Is everything there was a lot of stuff in one area, and it was really noisy. It was hard to sit and have a conversation sometimes, some nights. But Holland America's not like that at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that Kelly Rome's got a comment there saying that she would hop from the Blues Club on Holland America to the Rock and Roll Club, and then retreat to a quiet bar. So and that's exactly how we would do it too. We would go between venues, then have some quiet time, and go back to something else. We always found our favorite musicians that we'd want to see time and time again. And Holland America has wonderful musicians. I'm sure that Paul will appreciate the caliber of music. He's a musician. I have a musical background, so I love a great musician, especially someone who can play multiple instruments and is and really put on a show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, Chad Matthew, they're making up for their last comment. They're saying the Princess atriums are gorgeous. Though.
They are, though, right? The look, yeah.
They are, but they get so busy.
Bulldog, they're saying that wasn't impressed by food or service, and we were blown away by Holland America's food and service, especially. I guess the cabana experience heightened that because you get your own private butler that helps take care of you, and there's a personal service. But the music walk was awesome. We spent nights. We rang in the New Year at the piano bar at the Billboard on Bourne. It's called on Holland America. We were on there for New Year's cruise. They had a deck party for New Year's, and we had so much fun at the piano bar that we stayed there and celebrated with a bunch of other people that were also enjoying the piano bar. And
it was a great way to ring in the New Year for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And just seeing the comments as they're coming in here, cruising for one. Sanctuary Princess is fantastic and reasonably priced. Yep, and I think Holland America's private retreat areas is really priced really well. It depends on what size of cabana you get, but we were really impressed with the Sanctuary on Sky Princess, and that'll be on our blogs coming up in the weeks ahead. That we spent some time in there, and it was a really wonderful experience.
You know what I loved the best about that was the scones. Have you had the scones on the cabanas? I probably gained a few pounds going through England eating scones everywhere I went. When we were this summer, I probably had my first one at Buckingham Palace, and I just kept eating scones the whole 5 weeks I was away. So I need to stay away from scones.
Yeah. Do you put your jam on first or your cream?
That is the debate, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Jam first. No, actually I don't, because I was told that was the wrong way. I might have done jam first years and years ago, but I always put on the cream and then the jam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We always do it jam and cream.
Yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you anyway. So it's all down to Devon or Cornwall. Yes. If you're from Devon, you do it the one way. If you're from Cornwall, you do it the other. And that's where a traditional scone, whichever you want to call it, with cream and jam comes from.
Yeah.
So they say that Devon do it one way, Cornwall does it the other. I know it all ends up in the same place, but we're jam and cream.
We are jam and cream.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah, I've done both, but I've been told I have to. But maybe that was from like someone who was British, obviously. I was taught that on a cruise ship at one of the tea times that I went to with some lady that I ended up sitting with, and that's what she told me to do. So I just started doing it that way.
You always do everything that you're told, yeah?
Well, I tend to be a rule follower. Not so much these days, maybe.
I don't think it matters because it's all on there, isn't it? And it all tastes lovely, so it doesn't really matter.
I just avoid the scones. That way I don't get in the middle of all this controversy.
He actually had a scone and he just ate it dry, just like it was like a biscuit with nothing on it. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's a man who's desperate to stay out of a debate, isn't it?
Neutral. Switzerland all the way.
Yeah, he's like the Switzerland of scones.
Dear.
Oh, I see a question here from someone asking if I drank all 4 of the Crown Royals and Cokes that were delivered to my cabin. So in our first day on the Sky
That's
Princess,
hilarious.
we had 2 orders of 2 Crown Royals show up, so 4 of them. My parents were next door to us, so I gave 1 to my father, and I drank 1 that night. We stored 2 in the fridge that I drank the next day or 2. Is that right?
Over a couple of days, yeah. Because we really weren't in our room much. We were so busy with 50 people on board that we spent very little time in our room having a drink. The most we were in the room was for breakfast. We would have breakfast on the balcony and coffee and that sort of thing, but not alcoholic drinks very much. So, yeah.
Peter's making a comment saying that he eats his scones with Nutella.
Nutella. Oh no.
We saw so much Nutella when we were in Italy. It shocked us, actually.
Right.
Oh wow, we've never tried that, Peter. So
Well,
that might be,
don't knock it till you try it.
What is that funny butter that they have?
Oh, it starts with an M.
Yeah, Carol was having it.
Marmite.
We have it on toast. Yeah.
Marmite.
What is that? We always
It's
want to know
horrible,
what
is
it
what
is.
it is.
See, I love it. Paul hates it. It's like a yeast extract, so it's quite a beefy yeast extract. But I love it. I'll have it on anything because as soon as I seen Nutella, I thought, "Oh, would Marmite work?" And you just mentioned Marmite, but Paul doesn't like it, but I do. But yeah, it's a very acquired taste. It's quite salty. I quite like that, don't I?
Australia has a similar thing called Vegemite, which we tried while Carol tried while we were
which
there.
is nice, but it's not as good. I didn't think it was as good as Marmite, but that's what I'm used to. But the Vegemite wasn't bad.
But just remember, there's Australians in the chat, so
No,
we
I
don't
know.
want to upset anybody.
Yeah, the British Vegemite. I just seen someone Southwest Florida books of the British Vegemite.
Oh yeah, there we go. Heat in the jar.
I see Southwest Florida Bulldog is talking about scones. He's calling them. They say they call them biscuits in the South, and so that's a whole different world. When we go into the U.S., that we see these biscuits that are like scones, but they put this white gravy on it, and I don't even know what
they call it. A gravy.
Yeah,
grits.
Grits
No,
is
that's
different.
different.
Yeah.
No.
Oh
Have
wow!
you seen that on the cruise ship? This white gravy, American.
I've seen grits. Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
So biscuits for us is cookies. What you
Yeah.
call cookies, we call biscuits.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
so that's different again. You don't want a rich tea dunked in some white gravy, do you?
That'd be awful.
Chad and Matthew say that they're in Atlanta, Georgia, there, and they're saying that they had Southern biscuits with house-made Nutella today.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, sausage gravy. That's what they put on them in the South. That's what Reggie the man was just saying. Sausage gravy they throw on their biscuits. Yeah.
So I love gravy, but I wouldn't put it on a biscuit. We have that on like vegetables and meat.
Same here. And I tried it before somewhere. Someone told me I had to try it, so I tried it, and it definitely was a one and done. I have never had it since.
Well, you do. Is it right in Canada? You do funny cheesy thing on potatoes. Is it called something beginning with P? Is it like a curd?
Poutine. Poutine. It's French fries, cheese curds, and gravy.
Yeah.
Usually a beef gravy or a chicken gravy. Yeah.
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 So
it's actually from Quebec, but it's all over Canada now. Oh, you'll love it, Paul. Shaking its head.
It is delicious, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, poutine.
Yeah, Reggie our man saying poutine, So
poutine.
And in Canada we twist the poutine, and we have all kinds of different poutines. You can get it with like an Italian red sauce with cheese on top of it, or you can get it with dressing, like stuffing you put in it for a turkey.
In a turkey.
That would be on the fries with gravy on top and cheese as well.
You just throw anything on top of French fries in Canada, you're good to go.
Yeah, sounds
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a restaurant in the city next to us that I think on their menu they have 30 types of poutine you can order, 30 different flavors. So we just put all kinds of funny things on French fries.
Yeah. I did see a comment earlier. Someone had asked, it's way back there somewhere, but I remember someone asked if we've ever done an Alaska cruise, and we're doing one this summer. And you haven't done Alaska yet either, right?
No, and we're doing
No.
one this summer.
Yeah, so we're going, but we're still. Yeah, we've actually booked an excursion already. We're trying to get into the mental space of going somewhere cold in summer, which is not usually what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we just told everybody last week that I convinced Mr. Canuck if he's taking me all the way to Alaska, I need the spa package. So we have the spa package booked for that week. Because if it's cold and rainy while I'm out exploring, I want to be able to get into a hot tub and sauna afterwards.
You sound very organized.
Yes.
Very organized.
Excursions. We put
We're bluffing.
Yeah.
I think you're more organized than us. At least you have a hotel booked for when we see you in March. We haven't even gone that far yet. That's only a few weeks away.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so that's a big debate here. I'm not sure if you get as many questions over in the UK about it, but almost once a day we get a question from someone saying, do you have a hotel recommendation in Fort Lauderdale for cruising?
Oh.
And we have yet to find the deal that we think is appropriate for price and quality. And
there's some beautiful hotels, but they're probably the most expensive place we've ever had to spend a night. It's in Fort Lauderdale.
If we had our choice, the Hilton Marine would definitely be a top one, but right now it's going for a lot of money. We were looking at it yesterday actually, but we're still, I don't know, we might have to sleep overnight in the airport if we don't get something booked.
Yeah. We noticed that when we
get a rental car and sleep in the car. You can get a rental car for around $50 a night. Whereas the hotel for around $500 to $800. So
yeah. We found that when we did, I was talking to we've got a fabulous travel agent called Dan, and we were looking at all the options when we were coming over, because we hadn't been to Miami. Well, you've never been, have you? I've been years ago, and Fort Lauderdale, and it was the hotels very, really expensive. We were shocked at how expensive they were. But yeah, you've got to pay it if you want to stay there, haven't you? That's the thing.
Well, this is it. You don't really have an option, right? You have to pay it.
Yeah, no, we're still trying to figure out the options, but for example, in Canadian dollars right now, there's like $400 to $500 for a room anywhere in a hotel around the airport and the cruise port. So we're hoping to get less than that.
They go up from there, though. So.
Wow.
Well,
yep.
I think we paid about £30.
So if everybody out there, hope that someone has an idea of a good place to stay for a good price, because we have yet to find it, and then that'll be like finding gold at the end of the rainbow. That'll be the magical thing we've been our whole cruise career we have been able to find yet. So
it's bizarre with hotel prices, because we have cruised from Southampton a lot in the UK, and the prices fluctuate all the time. You think, we'll book early because you get a deal, and then you look at it and think, wow, that's crazy. And then sometimes you do get the odd late deal, but it's I guess the travel industry is still trying to recoup, aren't they, a lot of what they lost?
I think so.
So we've just
really gone up in the state of Florida.
Yeah, that we think, if we want to do that particular trip, it's at the moment it's going to cost us more, and who knows whether those prices will probably never come down, because they don't tend to, do they? But it is what you have to do, isn't it, if you want to travel to that part of the world?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's frustrating when your cruise price is a couple $100 a night, and your hotel that you sleep for just a few hours and don't get any food is double the price. So But then again, we're privileged, and we're lucky to be able to travel so much as it is. So we won't complain too much, because I know a lot of people are still. I'm amazed at how many people we still hear are easing back into travel and cruising after the pause. They're still a little bit cautious, so we're happy to be back doing it. So
we are
exactly. Yeah, we're very thankful.
We're seeing some comments here about Fort Lauderdale and hotels, and credit cards and getting points and that type of thing. We've tried using points with Hilton, and we're still working on it. So if Paul and Carole, you get a knock late in the night before the cruise, you're not staying there.
They're on a cruise ship. They're going to be on the celebration, so unless you plan on swimming out to meet the celebration, you're not.
We're staying in Fort Lauderdale afterwards for a couple of nights. But we come straight off the celebration. We're going to get Uber straight to, obviously, New Amsterdam.
Yeah, no, I like that idea about getting a rental car, though. Maybe get an Isla minivan so you have enough room to sleep in the back. So
I was joking. We are not doing that.
If you got
universe.
You can rent a row out.
If I have to parasail, you can do that. Fun times. So, Well, we're winding down here, so maybe we'll let Paul and Carole go with 5 minutes to go here. We can wrap up. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Yes, we feel bad that we kept you up so late, but
No,
we so
no
appreciate
problem.
it, and we can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah. No, thank you for having us, and thank you for all the lovely comments. It's nice to see we've got a few familiar faces in there as well, cruising for one. So yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been lovely to actually eventually just have a proper in real time conversation with you. So thank you so much for inviting us on, and hopefully, like I say, we're going to invite you onto our channel when we come back, aren't we? We're going to do a post sort of with all your experience with Holland and America and Carnival. It'll be good to have our sort of fresh eye take and your experience take. So we're going to be planning to do that on our channel when we get back.
But we're going to be doing that at 3 o'clock in the morning your time.
No.
That's good. Actually, I'm usually up by around 3:30. My body won't let me sleep past then. So let's do it for 3:30, Paul.
What time's that here?
What time's that here? I don't know. I'd have to work it out. Time zones. I'm not very good at time zones.
That would be like around 8:30 your time in the morning.
We join you for breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh, in the morning? No, that's still too early.
He doesn't like the mornings.
I know you like to sleep in.
I do indeed.
Yeah.
Right then, well, we'll let you wrap up.
Yeah, thank you very
right.
much. We'll speak to
Thank
you
you
soon.
again.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you
Safe
soon.
travels.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay. Paul and Carole are gone, so that was wonderful talking to them.
It was.
Oh, that was so amazing. Yes, we haven't. We've chatted back and forth for a long time. This has been a while in the making. Last fall, I think it was, we found out that they were looking to join us on the New Amsterdam,
Right.
and we were like, of course, for sure, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and
So, we're so excited about it.
yeah,
For sure.
it's gonna be a wonderful week, and we'll be vlogging like crazy, and we'll be talking YouTube, but we'll also be talking Carnival and cruise ships, and it's gonna be an exciting 7 days. Yeah,
For sure.
it's gonna go by too fast, I'm sure. So I see a lot of people are kind of signing off a little bit, but I'm just looking to see if there's any other last questions. A few people are going off Crown Grove for their last supper. Oh, that's Southwest Florida Bulldog. Actually on a cruise ship right now watching the live, which is really nice.
Kelly Rome just wrote in saying that she found the same with pricing hotels out of Vancouver, but she just found a decent deal. You let us know what one that is. We need that information because we're also trying to look for one in Vancouver too, Kelly, for July.
If you know a good deal, we're looking for Vancouver. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I see someone here saying they flew in the morning of their cruise into Fort Lauderdale. That's the best money saving way to do it if you can do it. It's just for us it feels a little risky sometimes coming from Canada, but
we've had that debate as to whether or not we have to go back to doing that for Fort Lauderdale, but man, especially in the wintertime, that's
it's one thing to do it when you're not traveling in the middle of winter, but
for us
it's a little scary.
A single snowstorm can destroy the cruise, so that's always a challenge. So this is going to be an exciting week. Like I said, we've got something new with the Suitcase Diaries. We got the interview there about the wedding cruise,
right?
And then hopefully after that, we're going to have a little bit about booking weddings on a cruise ship. We're going to tell everybody how a year went. So we're going to explain that process, and then we'll be also throwing in the vlogs to show us what it was actually like on the cruise ship. So, but then the fun, I can't wait to edit beyond that because we did some wonderful things in Roatan.
We did.
Oh,
we
yes.
did.
Yes, for sure. And I don't want to give it all.
We got up to things we've never done before. Yeah. So we hope that you guys enjoyed it, seeing what we did, and we had a wonderful time.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really excited to get those vlogs out, and so we'll start signing off here. I see everybody saying goodbye, and we'll wrap it up. We are on, I believe, next Sunday again. This is a long weekend for us. We're actually not having to go to work tomorrow, which is really nice. Yeah, so that's nice.
Long weekend for us.
We'll be back next Sunday, and I'm not sure what we'll talk about yet. We're getting close. Next week will be 2 weeks away till our cruise.
Right.
So we may have to start talking a little bit of Holland America and how all that's setting up, what we've got going on. But let's see, one last question. Oh, I saw. Sorry, Pete.
To the Crown Royal.
I saw that question earlier, Peter. No, we haven't. It is in Manitoba. Manitoba.
Oh, okay, Manitoba.
Gimli, Manitoba is where that is. At least the one in Canada that produces. There's also another distillery, I believe, down in southwestern Ontario, but Gimli is the one that's kind of famous for Crown Royal. but haven't been there. No.
Oh.
So, and I see Kelly saying residence in Vancouver. We just stayed at a residence inn in Fort Lauderdale,
Which was probably one of the most reasonable ones in Fort Lauderdale when we booked it. So maybe that's a brand to sort of keep in mind. We had good success with that.
Yep.
Nice room and
Yep.
and conveniently located and all of that sort of thing.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep. Okay, so good night, everybody.
All right.
Have a good week. And if you have any other questions that we didn't get to tonight, we didn't get to say hi to a lot of people, but we really want to thank everybody for joining us and listening. And talk with Paul and Carole was wonderful. But throw in the comment section. We'll be going back after this live, and we'll be able to check and see if there's any other questions. And if for Paul and Carole, we'll pass them on as well. Definitely check out their station. They are wonderful on YouTube, so informative. They also have a really good website. They're very active on Instagram and Facebook. So they're one. If you like the Cruise and Connect content, you'll love their content too. So,
All right.
So have a good night, everybody, and we'll say good night there.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.